Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Tom Talks Stuff. I'm Gleeman Tom, and today we've got another one to cover. I get it, because it's not the worst one, it's another. Oh, well, anyways, on to Chivalry of a Failed Knight, a tale of the worst one. Only it's not, because it's a really fun show. I'm gonna go on before I keep rambling like a crazy person. The plot of this anime is again one we've all seen before. It's a classic trope. So this was the second anime chosen for my daily anime rating by all you out there on Google Plus. And well, it was surprisingly similar to the show I'd recently watched and reviewed, Absolute Duo. I'll leave a link to that review in the description below if you'd like to check it out. So the plot and setting of this series is pretty straightforward. The students are all training at Chivalry Academy to become magical knights, but our main character, Iki Kuragane, is a bit different than your average student. He has virtually no magical power. His magic level is in fact so low that he was not even allowed to take the classes on combat there, earning the rank of an F-class knight and the nickname Worst One. However, the new director of the school is a pretty badass and cool character, and she gives Kuragane a chance. If he's able to enter and win the 7-Star Battle Festival, a tournament like thing with a whole bunch of academies compete, she'll pass him. Otherwise, he'd have zero chance of ever becoming a lawfully recognized magical knight. Also, in the beginning of the series, we meet a princess from another country, an A-class magical knight herself, and she transfers over to the academy, and the shrewd director makes her and Iki roommates. Together, the two form a powerful partnership and a little bit of romance. Even though Stella was born with an extraordinary amount of magical power, she works exceptionally hard to better herself. She despises all those who place her in a certain box of simply being a talented person, instead of someone who works hard for what she's obtained. This is the reason she grows to respect and appreciate Iki so damn much. Because even though his magical power is so low, he's able to fight so well and accomplish so much because his unbelievably intense training and hard work. The man's skill is entirely earned. Everything, and I mean everything he has, he struggled through blood, sweat, and tears to obtain. By the end of the series, he's no longer called the Worst One. He's another one, which explains my meager attempt at a joke at the start of this video. The 12 episodes of Chivalry of a Failed Knight covers Iki Kuragane's and Stella Vermillion's struggle to enter the 7-Star Battle Festival. Unfortunately, I know nothing beyond that, as this is where the show leaves off. I do hope we'll get a sequel at some point. I guess I'll just have to look into getting the light novels if that doesn't work out. Well now, I think it's time to move on and discuss the characters. First, we should probably discuss the key character of the show, Iki Kuragane, the character aptly nicknamed the Professor of Swordplay. I know this nickname is only used once, but I loved his nickname, and it goes so well with the kind of future I see for the character. So it's just what I call him. It's my favorite nickname for the guy. Since no one would teach Iki due to his super low magic score, he became very skilled at studying the techniques of others, breaking them down and stealing them for himself, which I loved. It's called his blade steal, and he does it with pretty much every opponent he faces. He analyzes them, evaluates their skills, and then counters them. His most dominant skills are his perfect vision, irregular guarding, and his Ito Shura. His Ito Shura is really interesting because, as said earlier, he has a very low magic level. So his noble art is basically him taking every scrap, every ounce of power he can muster and pumping it out full throttle for 1 minute. It gives him an extraordinary boost and a huge amount of power, but he can only use it once a day. Iki is a truly awesome character. I enjoyed him immensely. He was a proper good dude, stoic and noble, as well as a kind and really good teacher. The reason I'm so fond of the Professor of Swordplay nickname is because that's what I see him in the future when he's all grown up and all of this is over. I definitely see him as a swordsmanship instructor one day. On to Stella Vermillion, his romantic interest. The third princess of a small country, Stella is a sweet but tough girl who values hard work and strong determination. She's Iki's love interest in the story, as well as an A-rank student who controls the element of fire. This matches her personality quite well, as she's really a fiery redhead. We see that tsundere aspect of her in the very beginning, but since her romance with Iki and she gets so lovey-dovey, we don't really get to see it as much because it's so focused on him. But you kind of do see her being all tsundere on other characters. Part of what made me enjoy this show so damn much is it didn't have the usual will they won't they trope this kind of anime usually uses. Instead, the two main characters establish their interest in one another very early on and remain interested in each other and only each other for the remainder of the show. Instead of in episodes focusing on will they get together, I don't know, here's another cute girl who likes him, they instead focus on the growing relationship between these two characters and the difficulties of these first loves and these first relationships. And I really enjoyed that. But hey, I'm probably just a hopeless romantic when it comes to these types of things, you know? Next up, Shizuku Kuragane. This is Iki's little sister, Shizuku. Learning how hated and badly treated Iki was by the whole family when he was little, due to his low magical ability, Shizuku made up her mind to hate them all and only love Iki, instead choosing to give him all of her love to make up for all the love he was denied. Admittedly, her romantic feelings for her full-blood brother is probably my biggest problem with the show. But since they don't overdo it and she doesn't overact on it, it seems like a really small complaint. Shizuku has an incredibly high magical ability and is a water elemental. Her fight with the student council president, Toka Toda, was undoubtedly one of the top 3 fights in the whole series. Next up is Shizuku's roommate, Nagi Arasuin, or Alice. She is an effeminate man who identifies as a woman, which I think is a pretty bold choice for the anime. I found Alice to be a likable character, always ready to lend a hand or an ear to an ally. Though Alice is also a bit of a mystery, we don't really get to know much about her. Him. I don't know. Next on, we'll talk a teeny bit about the school administration. Director Kurino Shinguji, I love her so much. She's the head of the Hagun Academy. The director is a truly great character, although honestly, not a lot is known about her character. She's a highly intelligent person, unwilling to be pushed around by anyone. It's also heavily implied in the show that she's really powerful. Probably my biggest regret in the series was that we didn't get to see more from her or what she's truly capable of. What I kind of think I like most about her is when she became head of the academy, she opened the way for Iki to actually achieve his dreams and fired each and every teacher that held him back, calling them, and I quote, trash. All right, the next person I'll talk about is the teacher, the only teacher we really see a lot of in this show. And if the director wasn't good enough, we also get this highly amusing and sweet teacher. This frail and eternally ill Yuri sensei. She is the one who granted Iki access to the school when another teacher might not have done so. She's a truly kind and she's actually rather pretty, but something is obviously wrong with her medically because she throws up about a liter of blood every day. I guess the last character to briefly discuss is the demon princess, Nin Saikyo. I hope I said her name correctly. She's this little lowly teacher with an obvious amount of power. Unfortunately, we are unable to see any of it in the storyline of this 12-episode series. Her scenes are usually amusing. She's either making you laugh, or she's the source of an explanation, spouting out exposition on the sidelines of a fight. Well, I guess that's it for the characters. Time to move on. All right then, moving on. The animation for this show was absolutely gorgeous. But really, that's not a big surprise since it came out of Studio Silverlinks, who were responsible for many really good looking anime like Baka to Test and Strike the Blood. Also, the series is licensed in America by Sentai Filmworks. And if I've said it once, I'll say it again. Sentai has a wonderful taste in which anime they choose to adapt. They really do. The magical abilities and the action scenes in the series always look so top notch. I couldn't help but love them. Even episode 11, which is my least favorite episode story wise, was animated so creatively, I even had to get it a higher reading on my Google Plus review. However, I didn't love the soundtrack to this show. I preferred the opening piece, the opening song, to the ending. The song was much better, and of course, I loved the black and white animation style, leaving color only in the blood and in the eyes. They did it for more than just the opening as well. Unless I'm wrong, there were only 2 or 3 times in the whole show when it happened, and when it did, the characters were pushing themselves so hard that nothing else mattered. At least this was the opinion I got. In these moments, it was like color doesn't matter. Shapes don't matter. It's irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the warrior spirit and the sword you're about to unleash. It was so awesome. Oh man, I really did enjoy this show. I think I rambled on for a second up there and I started talking faster, but I hope the recording's all right. Like I said before, the setting is a standard high school harem with superpowers. We've seen it before. It was in the last review I did for Google Plus. It was an absolute duo. But that really doesn't mean the show isn't worth watching. I'd easily give Chivalry of a Failed Knight an 8 out of 10. It was that good. It was a fun story, likable characters, great battles, and big heart. Honestly, I think my biggest problem of the series is how will I find out what happens next? Will we get a season 2, or will I once again have to spend more money I don't have on light novels? Are these light novels even released to America? I can't believe I didn't look that up. Really, I think it was Iki who made this show for me. Iki and his ties to the other characters. This one dude who's had such a supremely awful life somehow manages, I can speak words, to excel, but also not to do it arrogantly. I mean, honestly, if you were picked on all your life, basically told you were worthless and trash and should accomplish nothing, and then you made it in the world, wouldn't you be at least a little ha in your face? I'm the best around. No one's ever gonna take me down. That whole thing. But no, Ikki helps others. There's a scene where a bunch of dudes attack him out of jealousy, and literally minutes later, he's teaching them how to improve themselves. I mean, what a guy. No wonder Stella, the director, and the princess, the demon princess, hell, even the god of war takes so much interest in this guy. He's a character worth betting on. And that's the kind of thing you want in a pro tag. Oh god, I just kept messing up, but that's just because I was so excited. This show was really fun. Good luck at the Battle Festival, Iki Kuragani. I'll be rooting for you, and I hope to find out what happens next to you before too long. I'll also learn to speak the next time, I promise. Well, that's it, I guess. I hope you enjoyed this video. In order to get your own invitation to the 7 Stars Battle Festival, you'll need 2 things. First, you need to click the like button and follow it up with a subscribe. If you do, the invitation will magically appear before you. I promise this is not a joke. It may take a few tries, so if it doesn't work at the first, maybe click into another one of my videos and try it again. I'm Clayman Thom, and thanks for watching. Remember, you can also find me at Google+, Tumblr, Pinterest, and Twitter. Peace, I'm out.